Just like that, award season has officially kicked off. The first step is done. The Critics' Choice Awards. Let's recap, let's react. Welcome back to Archer Vision, presented by MovieArcher.com. My name is Nico, and make sure you are following MovieArcher.com, and make sure you subscribe to Nico Knows Film on YouTube and TikTok. That's where I talk about all this stuff. It's our first major awards event, our first televised award just happened, the Critics' Choice Awards. The thoughts are fresh, and let's just get right into it. Instead of going like category by category and analyzing every single win, I'm just going to talk about the winners, recap them, and talk about how I think that impacts the award season as a whole, especially the Oscars down the road. And yeah, just going to keep it casual also because the Golden Globes are usually first, but this year Critics' Choice is first. So Critics' Choice has this reputation of trying to predict the Oscars, so sometimes they go for things that are really safe. You know, there's critics groups that happen throughout the year too, and yes, not every member of Critics' Choice, that the CCA as a whole is not the best representation of every critics group across the country, but a lot of times during award season we see certain films, certain actors, certain artists win a lot of these critics group awards, and then the Critics' Choice Award comes around and they're not getting those. So this year it really actually seemed like Critics' Choice went with what they liked the best, and that's what made this night kind of fun. For some of these winners, you'll hear me say, yeah, this I think is the beginning of a wave of winners you're going to see throughout the season, but some of them I actually think maybe are specific to just the ceremony tonight, and that's kind of fun. First, an international feature, The Secret Agent one. They announced it on the red carpet, which I found very weird, especially it being like the international award and it doesn't get the time at the ceremony. Anyway, The Secret Agent wins. It's a great win. I love that film. It's my number 8 of the year. My favorite international movies are Sentimental Value and It Was Just an Accident. So can I see The Secret Agent winning later in the season? I can. Brazil is strong. There was a lot of love for I'm Still Here last year, so that could definitely happen. I'm still leaning towards something like a Sentimental Value or It Was Just an Accident, because those are two movies that I think are really going to be prominent in the Best Picture lineup. I think The Secret Agent is going to get there, but this is a really big win for that movie right now. It's going to put it on the radar for a lot of the awards bodies going forward. Two really big wins. I think the biggest wins of the night that people are going to talk about is Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein winning supporting actor and Amy Madigan for Weapons. So the supporting actor categories here, two horror performances that we usually don't see. You know, a lot of people are predicting different actors to win these awards. So Critics' Choice doing something that they really love. They really liked Weapons and they really like Frankenstein. The Elordi win is very cool because it's such a special performance. It's very unique. He's in the makeup, he's in the prosthetics, and it's just this monster performance, this fairy tale creature. So I think it's a very cool win, a very bold, vulnerable performance for him. And for Madigan, a lot of people love that Weapons performance. It took the summer by storm, and she really showed up here at Golden Globes. She showed up in critics group. So a lot of people think Amy Madigan was going to get an Oscar nomination. I think a win here at least is going to keep her, and a really nice speech, I think is going to keep her in the conversation, and that Oscar nomination, which I doubted at times, is looking more and more real. Now, do I think these winners are going to continue? I don't think so. I think this win could actually propel Elordi to an Oscar nomination. I originally was leaving him out. I just think he's a younger performance. Frankenstein's monster, right? Same thing for Madigan. I was sort of doubting that nomination too. I'm in the minority there. A lot of people are thinking it's going to happen, but them both winning here, them both giving speeches, just the way the room reacted to the wins too. I definitely think this was very good for them. I would still, in supporting actor for the Oscar, thinking down the road, I would still think of Benicio del Toro. I would still think of Stellan Skarsgård. For supporting actress, that's actually kind of wide open. I think Madigan might be like Angela Bassett 2.0, where she wins Critics' Choice, she wins Golden Globe, and then SAG, BAFTA, and the Oscar do something else. To me, I would hope it's Inga Ibsdottir Elias in Sentimental Value, but I actually want to see what the Globe does before I talk about this category. But I don't think, or Teyana Taylor, I think, is the most likely winner for all this, but she did not win tonight, and they loved one battle. So let's stay tuned on these supporting categories. Two just absolutely lovely wins. We have Golden, K-pop Demon Hunters wins song. It also wins animated feature. All 6 of them were there. All 6 of the performers was there. Just a lovely win. I think song and animated that better keep happening. I hope none of these awards bodies are like, hey, let's do something different. Listen, if they do, there's a lot of great animated movies this year, but K-pop Demon Hunters is so special. The music, I mean, the staying power, the cultural impact. I just think it's the rightful winner. So I need that to keep happening. And hey, it won the 2 it needed here, so let's hope that keeps rolling. Young actor went to Miles Caton. That's not a category that you're going to see at a lot of shows going down the line, but I just think that's a really great win for Sinners. Such a standout performance when you think of this year. But Sinners, another really nice win in score. Another great look. It's right here behind me. Ludwig Göransson's score. I mean, it's hard to think of a better score this year. And is this thing going to keep winning? I think, are we going to give him another Oscar? We could, because the work is that good, A, but B, Sinners is so strong that I think this is a category where it could just keep picking up a win there. Johnny Greenwood won Battle. I would say that's the other one to look out for. I really think it's going to come down to one of those two. To go through some of the text, F1, editing and sound, cool wins. I haven't seen F1, but it makes sense given those categories: racing movie, the cars, the sound, the way you have to edit those scenes of them in the car, the racing and everything. It makes sense. I do think F1 could end up with an Oscar nomination in sound. Editing feels like a long shot, but I think it could happen. We'll see what Ace does. We'll see what the Eddies do. But I think F1's fringe in those categories could end up being a mainstay. Hair and makeup goes to Frankenstein. A lot of text for Frankenstein, which makes sense. That movie is so sweeping and sprawling, so fantastical, right? But cinematography, Train Dreams. So I know the Golden Globes didn't love Train Dreams as much. Critics' Choice did. We'll see what the Oscars do with that. A lot of people love Train Dreams. It's a lot of people's #1 movie of the year. It's on a lot of top 10 lists. The Oscars like what they like. Sometimes the Oscars, they end up doing a lot of what you see throughout the season, or sometimes Oscar morning happens and there's a few nominations and certain categories where you're like, wow, the Academy more than anyone really liked this movie. So I would say it's nice to see Train Dreams pick up wins in some places, because any win throughout the season, I'll say this, any win throughout the season can help you and increase your chances to just showing up on Oscar morning. And then Frankenstein rounds out costume design and production design as well, of course, right? Of course. Critics' Choice was always going to come down to, in my opinion, one battle after another versus Sinners. And we see it really split in some nice places. We see original screenplay go to Sinners. Ryan Coogler, love that win. Very well deserved. I do think that is still the favorite for the Oscar in this category. Adapted screenplay goes to One Battle. I also think that's the favorite in this category too. Hamnet being right there. I would say your safe bet is bet on both of these for now, just because they're so strong. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But at the end of the day, One Battle got a little bit of the last laugh here because Paul Thomas Anderson, of course, wins director. We knew that was going to happen. This and two other awards I'm going to talk about shortly. I would say these are wins where these are the universal wins, the wins I think you're going to see continue to happen throughout the season. PTA Best Director, that's the first one. I just think that's going to happen. It's like Nolan. It's his time. It's well-deserved. The direction of One Battle is so incredible, and everybody loves Paul Thomas Anderson. Everyone wants him to have an Oscar, so this is the year. I would say this is the beginning of the PTA sweep. I should just bury the lead now. Well, One Battle also wins Best Picture here. Once again, it was that or Sinners. I feel like those were the big two. I think this will also be what wins Best Picture. I think you're going to see this win drama at the Globes, or is it a musical comedy? It's going to win its category at the Globes. I think it's musical comedy, which is just crazy. The musical comedy at the Globes is ridiculous, but I think it's going to win the Globe. I think it's going to win SAG Ensemble. We'll see what BAFTA does, but just like Oppenheimer, right? This feels like this year's Oppenheimer. One Battle. I think the Best Picture thing is going to keep happening. I do think Sinners is right behind it, even though I don't think the Academy would give Best Picture to Sinners. I think it's a little too populist for them. But One Battle after another, one Oscar after another. It's just going to start happening. Lead actress goes to Jessie Buckley. Now, this one I'm a little surprised because Critics' Choice clearly went for what a lot of the critics were liking. Critics loved Buckley. They really did. She really was winning a lot of critics groups, but Rose Byrne had a lot of love. Seeing the Elordi win, seeing the Madigan win, I was like, okay, is this where Rose Byrne is going to win? Because a lot of people up until a few days ago were really thinking, okay, Rose Byrne is like winning so many critics groups. She won New York. I think she won LA too. And okay, she's going to keep going. She's actually going to become, at one point it was like, is she going to get a nomination? But now it's more of a question of, is she going to win? I think this win shows you she's getting the nomination. I don't think she's winning. I don't think she's winning the Oscar. This, at the beginning of the season, people thought this was Buckley's to lose, and then it faded a little bit. Jessie Buckley winning here, who gave a hell of a speech, by the way, a beautiful speech. You're going to see, I think this is the beginning of the Jessie Buckley sweep, because Hamnet is going to be a stronger player in Best Picture, probably a top 3 movie, maybe top 2, depending on who you ask, depending on what some of these ballots look like. So Jessie Buckley, I think, is going to start winning, and I think she's going to win the Globe. I think she's going to win SAG. I think she's going to win BAFTA. I think she's sure as hell going to win BAFTA, so that just makes the path to the Oscar that much more likely. Now, actor goes to Timmy. Marty Supreme, Christmas Day, Marty Supreme, Critics' Choice win. Schwepp, Timmy Chalamet wins Best Actor here. That was fascinating to me because while I thought they would do it, I did think they would do it. It made a lot of sense for Critics' Choice, but with how much they liked One Battle, I could have seen Leo here with them giving Secret Agent the win, maybe Wagner Moura. I don't think anyone else was in contention to win here. Maybe they could have pulled something wild like a Michael B. Jordan win. The reason why I say that would be wild is because I think some of those other people I just named have stronger performances and more cachet to win. Timmy winning, is Timmy going to go all the way to the Oscar? I don't know. We have to see what happens at the Globes next week. And then it's really going to come down to what BAFTA does for me. But I would say this win, fun speech, a lot of charisma. Could this be the beginning of a Timmy sweep? I don't think he's going to sweep, though. I see a world where Timmy might win the Oscar, but he loses something. He won SAG last year. I don't know if they would give him back-to-back SAG wins, so that's going to throw some people off. We'll see what the Globes does because he's competing against Leo in that musical comedy category. And then BAFTA, I don't know if BAFTA is going to love Marty Supreme the way they love other movies. So I would say for him, this may end up being his only win. He said it in his speech. I don't know if I'll be up here again. This may be his only win. He may win this and the Oscar. I'm not quite sure. Would I bet on Timothy Chalamet winning the Oscar yet? I would say we have to wait till Globes and even maybe SAG before I could give you like a confident prediction. But that's really it. To summarize the 4 acting winners, Elordi, Madigan, Buckley, Timmy, I think the most likely person to win the Oscar is Jessie Buckley. I actually think the other 3 categories are up for grabs. I would say the next most safe bet would be Timmy. I just don't see Madigan going all the way to the Oscar, and I don't see Elordi, as much as some people might not like this. I think it would be incredible if he won the Oscar. I just don't. I need to see more wins to be able to say that. Paul Thomas Anderson, director, One Battle, Best Picture. One Battle, adapted screenplay. I think 2 of those 3 are very likely. Adapted, we'll see. I still think Hamnet can pull that out. Original screenplay, I think Sinners. I think this is the award you're going to give Coogler throughout this season. I think he's going to win the Oscar because I can't imagine the Academy Awards end and Ryan Coogler doesn't get an award, and I don't think it's going to be in director, so I do think it's going to be an original screenplay. So just a little casual video here. I'll be reacting to the Golden Globes as well. I might try to do that video like reacting in real time to the winners, but you'll find that at Nico Knows Film, YouTube, TikTok, but most importantly, moviearcher.com. Tell me what you thought of the Critics' Choice Award wins. Which ones did you like? Did you dislike? Just let me know in the comments, and I cannot wait to hang out with you all again next week. Award season. Here we go.